this week we got new stuff from Mac Gaming, Sony's thoughts on cloud gaming, and more. So let's just go ahead, together, as a people, and check it out! And welcome to another sensational Sunday. I'm Mike, and I'm back to talk about the gaming news and such. And you know what recently came out? Diablo 4. Now, I'm personally not a Diablo fan, but I've heard really good things about the game. But you know who is a Diablo fan? Apparently, Whoopi Goldberg. Whoopi Goldberg posted a video on Instagram about her displeasure with Diablo 4 not being on Mac. Apparently, she's secretly been a Diablo fan this whole time and has played exclusively on Mac. Who knew? Anyway, Blizzard's Rod Ferguson responded on Twitter and basically said that he didn't have being yelled at by Whoopi Goldberg on his Diablo 4 launch bingo card. Now, this whole thing was pretty funny and good-spirited, but to be honest, I didn't even know that the previous Diablo games had been on Mac. If I had to guess why it's not available, it's probably due to Apple switching to a new chip architecture since Diablo 3 came out, and it being a little bit different to develop for than their previous Macs were. But there doesn't seem to be anything planned as of right now to bring Diablo 4 to Mac. Sorry, Whoopi. But she may not be sad for too long because Apple had their Worldwide Developers Conference last week, and amongst the many things announced, there was some news related to gaming, which I know is shocking because it's Apple. So during WWDC, Apple announced their gaming porting toolkit, which will make it easier to port games to the Mac. But it also includes a translation layer similar to Proton that's used on the Steam Deck that emulates a Windows environment and lets games just run on the Mac that were designed for Windows. And this is for developers to test their game's performance and decide if they want to do a native Mac version or just run the game through a translation layer. Now, there isn't any word if they're going to make this available for consumers in macOS and allow games to just run this way. Right now, it's just for developers, but if Apple has already done the work to create this translation layer for the Mac, then why not continue to improve it and make more games compatible with Mac without relying on the devs to do all the work? The good news for Mac gamers right now is they at least have one more studio that's committed to bringing games to the Mac. So Apple had Hideo Kojima, founder of Kojima Productions, and of course he's known for his work on the Metal Gear series. He came out during WWDC to announce that Death Stranding and future games would be coming to Mac. I guess it's cool if you haven't played that game and you only have a Mac, but that kind of felt like what they always do. They bring someone out to announce a game that's a few years old and it's finally coming to Mac. I'll say at least with these new development tools, it seems like they're taking gaming a bit more seriously. We'll see what comes out of it and if any more games come out for Mac. Speaking of coming out, happy Pride Month. That's not what I was meaning to talk about. Anyway, speaking of coming out, the long-rumored Western Digital expansion card for the Xbox Series consoles is officially available. So we talked about this a month or so ago when a screenshot of these cards got leaked. So they've launched with two models, a 512 gig card for $80 and a 1 terabyte for $150. Seagate, who previously were the only company making the official Xbox expansion card, recently lowered their prices to match this. So hopefully with competition, these prices continue to fall and get to the price of an off-the-shelf SSD with similar specs. But you know what doesn't require much storage? Cloud gaming, and that's what we're talking about in our final story. So Sony has been doing cloud gaming for a while now. They have PlayStation Now, which has been rolled into PlayStation Plus, and it's currently the only official way to play any PS3 games on the PS4 or the PS5. Well, Sony CEO Kenshiro Yoshida spoke about cloud gaming, and this is what he was quoted as saying during a Financial Times interview. Yoshida stated that latency has continued to present problems for cloud gaming since gamers demand low response times. However, he did say that the financial possibilities of the technology are exciting from a revenue perspective. He was also quoted in the GameSpot article as saying that cloud gaming is very tricky. Now, I feel that anyone who's played a cloud game versus playing a local version of that game can probably tell the difference and can probably feel those technical limitations. As the same with every service. So there's not an issue with what he's saying. My issue is that Sony obviously knows that cloud gaming isn't quite up to snuff yet, but yet it's the only way that they offer to play PS3 games. They don't offer a real alternative that's close to the native experience. Sony CEO acknowledging this is cool because at least they're acknowledging that these limitations are there, but it's not really addressing the current issue that they have of only having certain titles, like the PS3 ones, be streaming only. I just thought it was interesting for him to comment on that and then kind of leave out the fact that it's the only way to play some of their legacy games. And I have a legacy of getting out of here, but let me know what you think down below. Is Whoopi right? Should they bring Diablo 4 to Mac? Again, let me know in the comments, and if you enjoyed this video, then make sure to tell a friend, tell a coworker, like, share, and subscribe, and hit that bell notification to be notified when I drop a video or live stream. And always do at least 2 things at the same time. We out.